glacier got revealed, all I could think about was just how massive this thing was.
It goes up the mountain until you can't see it no more. I was just in awe. You definitely feel small out there.
To adventure, and the filmmaking and the photography allow me to capture those moments and helps for me to share it with other people. My name's Dan Redfield, and these are my photo ventures. I always see Lee's posts on Facebook, and this dude is always out there adventuring, just doing some of the craziest stuff. And I saw one of his pictures where he was jet skiing up to a glacier. So I hit him up, I was like, you gotta let me tag along with you.
I love getting out and exploring new places in Alaska. I mean, maybe it was because I grew up on the water in Southeast Alaska on a boat. On our off days, I'd be on the beach just exploring and stuff. Originally I wanted to buy a boat, but that kind of didn't work out, so jet ski is the next best option. You're that much more exposed to, all the elements, getting wet constantly. Not a lot of people jet ski in Alaska. I like that aspect of it. People definitely look at you a little funny.
I've never ridden with Lee before, and there's always this kind of feeling out process. Are they gonna take it easy on you, or are they gonna go full throttle on you? I've got $5-6 grand worth of camera gear. Camera gear doesn't float. We left the harbor and he just hit it. First couple hundred yards out of the harbor, we were airborne.
65 to 70. I wasn't trying to scare Dan too much.
You've got to hold on, but you've also got to hold on to the camera. You got to focus it. You got to expose it. So I got real good with, holding on with one hand and kind of doing everything else with the other hand. We cruised around the coastline, didn't want to get super close to the waterfalls because there's just a ton of seagulls out there, and they were definitely dropping bombs. We find this really cool spot that Lee says that he used to camp out at, and I can totally see why. It gives you a really great vantage point of Whittier and then the mountains that surround it. We gotta park the jet ski off the rocks a little bit because the tide's going out. You've got your gear and you're holding it over your head and you're walking forward towards the beach. We already passed through some amazing waterfalls, and if you know me at all, I'm a sucker for waterfalls, so of course, I'm like, Lee, let's stop. Lee, let's stop. Lee, we gotta stop. He's like, dude, we gotta make it somewhere. We could be stopping at waterfalls for days out here. It's really cool to see all these dead trees juxtaposed with all this new spring green vegetation that's sprouting up. Using an ND filter on the lens to dim the light down so that you can keep the shutter open longer, and what that does is just smooths out the water a little bit and gives it more of an ethereal effect, because there was a lot of glare, there was a lot of choppy water out there, so using that ND filter and a longer shutter speed just kind of helps flatten everything out.
You never know in Alaska with the weather, it's always changing.
Every day of the week, you can't go out there on a jet ski. It's just not going to happen. You can't even leave the harbor.
We shot for Wednesday and it stayed clear for us.
We didn't know exactly where we were going. We were looking for a lake, but we found a waterfall that was dumping into the cove. If there's anything I know, it's that where there's waterfalls, follow that. There'll probably be a lake at some point.
Dan came to me with, let's go to Surprise Cove and explore there, and that's the first time I heard of it. Definitely was glad we headed over there.
We're kind of in the middle of nowhere. There's no trail that leads off of it, so you're making your own trail. Oh yeah. Oh.
Wetsuits are a terrible idea right now.
Oh yeah. There really is something magical about light peeking through a forest with moss growing. I love that color combination too, with the yellow and the orange sun coming through and the green moss and the green forest. I carried the camera gear, the drone, through, trees and leaves and the freaking forest. I'm freaking sweaty. But this lake is a freshwater lake, so, why wouldn't I go cool off a little bit? Oh, Lee also told me that I put my wetsuit on backwards, and he called me a kook for it. So I am kook of the week. This is the first time I've ever put on a wetsuit and I put it on backwards, so it's a great start to my wetsuit career. Oh! Oh! Oh, I float with this thing! Ooh! Ooh! Oh! Just putting this wetsuit on, it took me 15 minutes just to get it on, and I was dreading the moment when I had to pee, but that moment came. So I asked Lee, how do you go to the bathroom in this thing? And I was really, really hoping he would say, oh, you just go in the wetsuit, but he said...
No, don't do that. If you did that, you're gonna have to clean it after.
You're gonna have to buy it?
Yeah, that too.
This is take one of me trying to put my wetsuit on. Okay.
It's more of a dance move.
It really is, Oh, that's that new move, the wetsuit. Oh, the wetsuit, do the wetsuit. Oh, baby. Buckle up for this, I'm gonna show you the wetsuit. Ah! Oh, the wetsuit. Oh, that's a pocket.
I think most of our time today is spent not even filming, just trying to get you into your wetsuit.
Yeah, I know, Lee. Thank you. Get it closer. Oh. Oh.
And done.
It's really that simple, kids. As part of our agreement, Lee wanted a couple of shots of him riding his jet ski around. So in this little cove, it was nice, perfectly still water, so it was a good spot to have him kind of whip around.
I can see you wanna step inside.
almost took out a tree, or actually the tree almost took out the drone. I'm flying it, following Lee going around this point there, and I didn't compensate for the trees, and I think the auto detection ended up stopping the drone, because you can see me following him, and then all of a sudden it stops and the drone corrects itself. I'm really thankful for the detection on that drone, because we'd probably be going for a scavenger hunt right about now looking for a drone. As we're entering the bay and the glacier got revealed, all I could think about was just how massive this thing was.
I was just in awe. Like, as you approach it from miles away, it just goes up the mountain until you can't see it no more. You definitely feel small out there.
I ran up one of the ridge lines to get over this little peak so that I could get a good vantage point of the glacier. Usually you scare the birds and they'll just like leave you alone, but some of them were starting to almost dive bomb me a little bit, and I couldn't figure out why. And you know, they had their eggs and they were out there protecting their eggs, so I found a different ridge line. We've only got about 15 minutes left of light. I told Lee, get on your jet ski, let's grab one more shot of you cruising towards the glacier. There's no flat, even surface for me to launch the drone, so I take the backpack, I open up one of the pouches, and there's a little flat area. Taking off on that was super easy. I was kind of like, well, what am I gonna do to land this thing? And then I looked at the light and I was like, no, it's gotta go in the air right now, so we'll worry about those details later. Trying to stay focused on getting him in frame, making sure it's exposed right, but at the same time, I've got sun falling, the battery on the drone is beeping, and the seagulls are more or less dive bombing me. So not super ideal conditions to try to focus and get a shot. Now I have to land this thing. It's gusting wind, 25 miles an hour. It's a little windy out there. The streams that we were crossing to get to some of our places to take pictures of, they're all glacier runoff. So this water, to say that it was cold, it wouldn't do it justice. This water was freezing cold. This water is the coldest water ever. And I've got shoes on with no socks, so there's no insulation, and it's absolutely terrible. It really is the coldest water ever. So I'm gonna cruise as fast as I can off of it, because I don't want to go in the water. And it's like, I don't know, like 1,000 feet wide, maybe wider. I don't want to do this. All right, whatever. It's time to go home. I had my feet in this water for about a minute and a half trying to cross the stream, and that was long enough. My feet were absolutely, I thought they were gonna fall off. They started getting kind of numb. It's probably why they're purple right now too. Gross. Oh my God. Dude, was that not the coldest water ever?
That was cold water.
Dude. Tell me about your hair.
Just been growing it out for a while. I just got it cut because it was getting too long, but.
You know, the glacier was awesome. You know, the jet ski ride out was great, but the hair flowing in my face was majestic.
If you're a passenger on my jet ski, you might get whipped in the face with my hair.
If you feel the pressure, then get up and let's go. Don't you let the fire die down in your soul. If you feel the pressure, then let it all go. Don't you hide the light in your soul. Live till the stars collide and wipe the sky away. Live, and when you shine your light, they'll hear you when you say, you remember this. I'm from the mist, shooting a lightning from my face. Chosen to fall, but I never fear. Lyrics made across the atmosphere. You remember this. You remember this.
Oh yeah, you can see how freaking sweaty you are.
Oh yeah. Lee, what are you doing?
Trying to paddle away from the beach.
I mean, you're making progress. You're almost keeping up with the tide. So I asked Lee, what's protocol for, man, I gotta wait for that plane. Can't do this. I can't work under these conditions. I'm like, Lee, how do I go to the bathroom? Never mind. Lee's like, not funny. I was thinking about posing for that calendar Mountain Men. Isn't that what it's called?
Yep.
The calendar thing?
You think you're cut out for it?
I mean, I think so. I got enough sass up front. Like, what do you think about this look right here?
What kind of coffee did you get?
Coconut latte. Super girly.
We're going to go see a glacier via jet ski. Probably doesn't sound like a super great idea. Alaskan Photo Ventures.